I've just spent the last maybe 2 hours watching videos all about how you should be using Chaos Ores in Raid Shadow Legends, and I kind of think I might have a different take. I think there might actually be a slightly better way of doing it. Hear me out. Hi everyone, welcome back for another video. So, Chaos Ores. They are rare or expensive if you want to buy them. You just don't really get them very often, and like with everything in Raid, it just adds another layer of gamble on top of everything. It's RNG stacked on top of RNG with a little sprinkle of Chaos Dust RNG on top of that. So here is what I learned when I sat and watched hours of videos. It seems like the most common kind of, I guess, guide, if you want to call it that, of how to go about these things is someone will say, grab a bit of gear, roll it to 12, and then look at said bit of gear, and if you've managed to get a double or a triple roll in a stat that's really not working for you, then chuck a Chaos Ore at it and hope. I don't think that that advice is necessarily wrong, but I think there's a better way of doing it, and a way that will hopefully save you an absolute ton of silver, which ultimately everyone seems to be lacking in. But guys, before we go any further with this video, I have to let you know there is a promo code linked in the description and the comments in this video. This is going to allow you a fresh start in Raid. Maybe you just want to try out the free-to-play life. Maybe you want to recommend the game to a friend. It's going to allow you a massive head start. You're going to get the likes of Elenaril, Fayne, Uugo and Tagoar as you level up your account. All you've got to do is follow these steps. You'll need to log out of Plarium Play on your PC and uninstall it. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch the game, complete the tutorial, go to your inbox and claim your first champs. This is such a solid head start in Raid. Don't miss it. All you've got to do is click the link below and get your goodies today. So here's what I do. This bit of gear in front of you now, it doesn't need a reroll. It's got double speed, which we all like to see, especially on a speed set. It's got an okay synergy with stats, you know, speed resistance works quite well, speed crit rate would have worked well, but at the end of the day, double speed, who's it for? Making a champion fast. The crit rate, actually with the way it's rolled, is probably now the weakest stat on this bit of gear, but there's no reason to touch it because I'm going to re-roll it and probably get nothing. And this is probably a common theme that anyone that's played this game and dabbled in the Chaos Ores is probably all too familiar with. So we're going to pick on a completely different bit of gear. In fact, you know what we're going to do? We are going to remove the set filters and we're just going to spin the wheel and pick on, let's just go for this exact pair of gloves here. Let's go for the Savage ones. Crit rate with crit damage. Good stats. Resistance and accuracy. This is not synergy. This is where everyone goes wrong with gear, but this is not a gear rolling tutorial. We're just going to click along until I find something that can work. Let's go with this. Crit damage, great. In a protection set, not great. Crit rate, okay, that works with the crit damage, but accuracy and flat defense, this is a completely misaligned piece of gear. And right now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking it's going in the bin. Like straight up, I would rather have my 61,000 silver and be done with it. However, we obviously nowadays have the chance to rework it. So I would say that if you've already taken this bit of gear to level 12, what, you've spent somewhere in the realm of 500k to maybe a million just rolling it up to 12, depending on how lucky you get. And then if I want to chuck a Chaos Ore on it, I'm going to pay another 50k and it's probably still not going to give me what I want. So then you could have spent up to, well, 1.1 million maybe on something that you're going to put in the bin and get 60k back from. It's just not economical. It's not how you save in this game. It's not how you turn your little silver stash into a big silver stash. It's just not the way I do it. So what do I do? Something slightly different. I will take a pair of, you know, while we're on the screen, I'll take a pair of gloves and I'll look at it and go, right, attack % gloves. Now who would ever use that? Only a bomb champion, only ever a bomb champion. And what is a bomb champion going to need? Accuracy to land their bombs and speed so that they can actually get a chance to land their bombs. I think this is a good example. I'm looking at it and I think, okay, it doesn't have accuracy. If I roll it to 12, there's a very high chance that I'm not even going to get a single roll into speed. It's going to cost me silver. Maybe there's a different way. Here's what I do. I actually use my Chaos Ore right off the bat. I've already told myself I'm probably going to sell this bit of gear. I'm not even going to bother trying to see if I can get a triple speed roll. I'm just going to say that this bit of gear now is going to cost me 50,000 silver. I'm going to roll it, and I wouldn't normally do this, but as I would say this is a waste. But look, there we go. Crit damage, good. With crit rate, fine, but defense HP, it's no good. I am just going to sell it, and I'm getting more silver back than I actually spent on it in the first place. So I've just made money. Yes, I've got rid of a Chaos Ore, but you know, they're not the be all and end all. If you are not end game, my biggest bit of advice I can ever give you is to just forget about Chaos Ore. Just let them grow. A bit like glyphs. Don't just go throwing 6-star glyphs on any old bit of gear you get. Save them for something that's actually worthy. Like this bit of gear here is great. I don't really like the substats, but in a cruel set with crit rate, lovely. There's no need to rework it. Just if you're not in that end game and you're not really trying to min-max, forget about them. Save them for later. You might need them. So what would I actually use one on? Because I wouldn't do what I just did as an example. I probably wouldn't. I don't know. It's just adding more layers of disappointment to something that's probably already disappointing in the first place. So here's what I actually recommend doing, and we are going to break it down in a simpler way as I can explain it. When it comes to weapons, let's get rid of the set filters here. When it comes to weapons, no matter which one I click on, they all share one thing in common, and that is that their main stat is only ever going to be attack, no matter which one I click on. And that is because weapons can only roll attack as their main stat. If we go into helms, no matter what I click on, they're only going to be HP. And we're just looking at this top stat here. It will never change. It's the only thing it can be. Shield, exactly the same story, except it's defense. That can never change. To me, that makes top row gear a lot more viable to consider Chaos Ore for than anything else, because you have a 100% chance of keeping the main stat. I think what we'd all really like in this game is to somehow be able to roll with Chaos Ore the top stat and the substats kind of independent from each other, but then that would probably break people's builds, and I can actually completely see why Plarium have chose to do it this way. On top of that, there's one more layer to consider, and that's that you only get one rework attempt. So this is a kind of one and done, kind of pray, hope that something good happens, hope that the RNG is actually on your side. Now, when it comes to, say, gloves, for example, if we look at what it can be flat HP, HP percentage, flat attack, attack percentage, flat defense, defense percentage, crit rate or crit damage. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got a 1 in 8 chance of getting what you want, and that's just on the main stat. I haven't even done the maths on what happens when you start factoring in the substats, but right now you're in what I would deem to be just hope territory. It's just pure hope. And I don't think in a game that's riddled with as much RNG as Raid already is, I don't think relying on hope to get where you need to go is actually a viable way of really getting anywhere in this game. So off the bat, gloves are kind of crap as a kind of candidate for Chaos Ore rolling. Let's look at chests. It's the same thing without the crit rate and the crit damage. This time we've got resistance accuracy. You've got a 1 in 8 chance of getting what you want initially, and then probably a nothing chance of anything further. And a similar thing happens with the boots, but there's only a 1 in 7 chance. So I think wasting Chaos Ore and a ton of silver is all too easy to do just because you're hoping that you might get something. I don't think that's how we should do things, and this is where I think what I'm going to say is different to everyone else. Everyone says step number 1, let's just see if we can find a rolled pair of boots. Let's go with this. Most people will say take it up to 12, which we're going to do. I wouldn't normally do this because I would always say roll in increments, but for the speed of the video, take it up to 12 and look for a double or a triple roll. Now we didn't get that here, so there's no way I'm reworking it because I've just spent, I should have looked at how much that cost me, probably too much, but you know, the maximum I'm ever going to get back for this is 67.5k. If I was to rework it now, it's going to cost me another 50k. Delete it. I use Chaos Ore as a diagnostic tool, not as a tuning tool. So when I see a piece of gear that is unbooked, sorry, not unbooked, unchanged or unrolled, and I look at this and I think, okay, defense percent boots, I would always say speed boots, but you know, as you get later and you can build up your stats with other things, the only thing I'm looking for here, you know, the only thing that would make me keep it is a triple roll in speed. And if it didn't triple roll in speed, it's going in the bin. Now, I don't need to delete this bit of gear or Chaos Ore it because, well, let's be honest, it's going in the bin, isn't it? So we're just going to take it to 12, no triple speed, bin. You've got to be more resourceful, otherwise you're permanently just clamoring at the fact that you've just never got any silver. So where am I going to use it and how am I going to use it? Simple. Let's go to accessories. I think a similar rule applies to accessories as before. We've got 3 options. With a ring, it can roll HP, attack, or defense, all flat. With a banner, it can roll HP, attack, defense, and crit damage, so you've now got even less chance of getting what you want. And when it comes to the banners, you've got 5 options because it's HP, attack, defense, and also resistance, accuracy. I much prefer a 1 in 3 chance than I do a 1 in 5 chance, let alone a 1 in 8 chance that we would have got from the previous gear. So I'm going to pick a random faction. Let's just click on Deliana. Let's go with what she's got, and I'm going to find maybe something in Merciless. Merciless is something that we are all going to get for free eventually, and let's pick on this bit of gear right here. Now, there are 2 uses for Merciless. You could look at it as a support build and ignore the DPS, or you could look at it as a purely DPS focused set. What I'm going to do is, I hate the stats as they are. I mean, HP with defense and resistance is awesome. Even a bit of accuracy might not help, but I want damage. This is my Merciless. This is 6-star legendary Merciless. You don't get this all the time. You pretty much just have to be Amius and hard bosses to do it. So right off the bat, I'm going to re-roll it, and if it doesn't hit crit damage, I'm putting it in the bin. So 100k to re-roll it. It hit crit damage. Awesome. The substats, pretty good. Pretty weird, but pretty good. Now I'm going to invest in this bit of gear. There is artifact enhancement going on at the moment. Double accuracy, it's okay. We're going to leave it at 12. If I ever need to build a champion, here you go. I've got something. I've regained control of the situation by only choosing to spend where I want to spend. And as a result, I haven't spent too much silver. Now let's just pick on another bit of gear and essentially hope that it goes wrong, which is not something we always do. Let's pick on this banner. Now, resistance banner. What would you want for a resistance banner? Speed, defense percent, HP percent. Can't really think of anything else. Resistance goes on champions that you are trying to keep alive, to not get controlled by the enemy team. But you know what? It doesn't have speed on it, so every part of me wants to just click delete. But we're not going to. We are going to rework it for the video, but I am not going to spend 1,000,000 silver rolling this up in hope that I might get a double or a triple. I am just simply using it for diagnostics. Rework, we got resistance again, but this time we got speed. Now I'm telling myself this is a bit of gear that's worth keeping. I'm not going to invest in it right now, but this stays in the vault. And this means that maybe one day I need a demon spawn in essentially a fancy refresh set, and they're going to need resistance. Only at this point am I ever going to recommend you choose to actually invest in the gear. Now, as I said earlier, if you're not late end game, just forget about these things. Just accumulate them, use them later down the line on gear that you know you're really going to want. If you're struggling to get, I don't know, a good 6-star bit of pinpoint with speed on it, you know, pinpoint is rare. You're not going to get it outside of events. That would be a good candidate. I'd argue maybe even a better candidate than Merciless, because if you're doing Cursed City every month, your Merciless gear is going to naturally accrue. This is where I think I'm trying to say something different than what other people are saying, because if you are going to invest an accessory up to level 12, you're straight up looking at 1,000,000 silver. If you want to take it to level 16, I mean, good, it could cost you 4 million. Then you put 100k on top of it, and then you just have to sell it anyway. So there isn't really much more to say about it than, I'm not telling you that what you've watched before is wrong. I'm just saying that most YouTubers are paid players. Like, they pay money into this game. Resources like Chaos Ore are going to come and go for them. Also, they're doing top level content, so, you know, they're not going to be as precious about the ore as perhaps you might be. I'm really precious about the ore. I'm sort of late game, but I'm not end game. And I don't want to just go spending these like crazy, because you never know. Sometimes you might need it. And is that not just the main rule of Raid? I said a few videos ago when we were talking about silver, don't roll it just because you've got it. Don't get addicted to just rolling, because all you're going to end up doing is getting addicted to disappointment. Do you need the bit of gear, or do you just want the bit of gear? The same applies to shards. Do you need the champion? There's the path going on at the moment. What's it called? The Path of the Lost, which I'm just dubbing Path of the Lost Cause. Yeah, I would quite like this guy. I'd really like a Balar, in fact. And I've probably got enough resources to do it, but do I need him? I don't need him. I'd like him. Am I actually going to use it? Maybe. I'm doing all right in faction wars with Sylvan Watchers. He might slot in But if you want to save and progress your account, and if you want to take a lot of stress off of a very stressful game, don't rely on want, just focus on your needs. And I think overall you're going to have a better time playing this game. Like, I really want this champion, but do I want him more than my 12 sacred shards and the other bits that I've got saved up? Not really. And the same you have to apply to silver and rolling, to your, what are they called? Your brews when it comes to leveling stuff up. Same with your skill books, same with your chickens. Do I need it? Or do I just want it? The same applies to Chaos Ore. So that's all for this one. It's just maybe another way of looking at it. I'm not telling you that what everyone said before is wrong. I'm just saying that it might not be the most resourceful way to do it, and maybe try and copy what I do. Just use it as a means of diagnostics and go, I'm unsure about this bit of gear. Spend 50 or 100k silver reworking it, and then probably just bin it anyway. That's kind of how this game goes, yeah? Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.